In this episode of Getting Geeky with Game Relief, I sit down with ICE to talk all about their new game, 9 Lives, and a little bit of bread. And then afterwards, we'll dive straight into our Kickstarter Corner, in which we're bringing you 4 to 5 new games. Plus, there's some Valentine's dice, and we've got a code just for you to get a discount. This episode of Getting Geeky with Game Relief is proudly being powered by me. That's right, Getting Geeky with Game Relief podcast season number 3 is currently on Kickstarter. Help us unlock that goal of video so you can catch awesome, cool videos when you're not in the car commuting on the podcast. We're really close to our goal, and you go ahead and help us. There's some awesome, cool stretch goals, content-based. Plus, we need some fans to help us get some fan-based stretch goals going as well. So jump on over and check that out. This episode of Getting Geeky with Game Relief is proudly being powered by 9 Lives. It's a card game for cat lovers, cat haters, and cat neutral people. Even dog people will love it. And in this episode of Getting Geeky with Game Relief, I sit down with ICE to talk all about it. So jump over and check out the campaign. It'll be on Kickstarter through the 3rd of March. This episode of Getting Geeky with Game Relief is proudly being powered by VIXIV, the game of survival, a fast-paced strategic card game that pits players against each other in a race to develop the most successful ecosystem. Help them make this game a reality. It'll be on Kickstarter through this Friday, the 8th of February. I hope they make their goal. If they don't, I hope they'll relaunch it. So go ahead and check it out, back it for even $1, and nothing will be charged to your card if they're not successful, and that way you can follow them on the relaunch. I know I will be following them, and if I get word, I'll let you know. This episode of Getting Geeky with Game Relief is proudly being powered by LunaTix Star Trackers. It's an educational and strategic board game that combines real astronomy and historical space navigation. It contains a real star map. If you want to find out more about it, I sat down with the designer and publisher of this game to talk all about it, and that can be located in their update they gave on the 22nd of January entitled Game Relief Interview. So go give that a listen and then check it out and back this campaign before Monday, the 18th of February. This episode of Getting Geeky with Game Relief is proudly being powered by Dark Naga, The Haunting of Hastur, Hardback 5e and OSR. It's a hardback color omnibus edition of The Haunting of Hastur modules. Dark Naga 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, plus VTT maps and extras. You want to find out more about this one? I as well sat down with Kevin to talk all about it, and you can find in his update number 3, entitled Update for week of February 4th, 2019. So go check that out, give it a listen, and see if this be something you want to add to your role-playing collection. This episode of Getting Geeky with Game Relief is proudly being powered by INSURED, the survival-based board game. For 3 to 8 players, do you have what it takes to survive? Would you strategize and manipulate to win, or would you leave it all up to fate? Well, you can find out in INSURED, the board game. They're so close to their goal, and it's still got 16 days to reach its goal. This project will be on Kickstarter through February the 21st. And if you want to find out more about it, you can go listen to that episode where I sat down with the creator in update number 3 entitled Podcast. So definitely check out INSURED, the survival-based board game.
Getting Geeky with Gamer Leaf, the podcast in which one man strives to level up his geekhood and helping you do the same, one battle at a time. Now, let's get geeky with Gamer Leaf.
The goal is to outwit, outlast, and outplay your opponents in any way possible to make sure that you have the most amount of lives at the end of the game and that your friends have none. Suggested routes to victory may include throwing your friends under the bus, making them fall into blenders, or straight up vomiting in their faces. While all of this is happening, you have to make sure that our cats survive their perilous misadventures. Maybe you'll become the leader of a rat colony, finally achieve internet stardom, or perhaps wake up reincarnated as a literal cat goddess. Or maybe you'll get sucked up by the vacuum cleaner for the nth time.
Did that sound familiar to you guys? It didn't to me neither, but that's the story of 9 Lives, a new game that just recently launched to Kickstarter, and tonight we're lucky enough to have on one of the designers of this game, Ice. Is that correct, Ice? Is that how you fall in line with 9 Lives?
Yes, that is correct. I am one of the designers of 9 Lives, a game that just recently came out on Kickstarter, and yeah, we're here.
Thank you so much for joining us on Getting Geeky with Game Relief so we could talk all about it tonight, Ice.
Glad to be here as well, Blake.
No problem. Now, before we dive into your game and everything, let's rewind a little bit if we could. How did you get into playing tabletop board games and whatnot, Ice?
Well, I do have, I played Magic the Gathering back in the day. Not really competitively, just really casually, really liked it. Played a lot of, just strangely enough, a Monopoly Deal. It was a game that me and my friends really, really, really got into. And aside from that, most of my gaming background actually just comes from video games. In terms of tabletop, it's really something casual that I pick up, play a few board games here and there. But 9 Lives was really my first foray into this giant world of tabletop.
Yeah, there's a whole bunch out there. So you played Monopoly. What did you call it? Monopoly Deal.
Monopoly Deal. It was very weird because it was semi-competitive. Because back in college, there was actually this huge Monopoly Deal tournament that was always being run every year.
Oh, wow, interesting. Yeah, I used to play regular Monopoly, and they also have Monopoly Gamer with the Mario Brothers and stuff. What's different about Monopoly Deal compared to regular Monopoly, do you know?
So Monopoly Deal is actually played via cards. It's kind of played like Uno. It's a lot faster, but the concept remains the same. It's very interesting. It's very fast paced.
Oh, that's interesting. Now, what are you playing these days? I know you said video games, but are you playing any tabletop games these days?
I think the biggest one that I recently played was Lords of Waterdeep. We've been playing that in the office fair bit. Been playing some Keyforge, recent game that came out as well. I'm sure people have heard about it. And well, I've been playing a lot of Magic the Gathering.
Oh, wow, I'll get back into it. And Keyforge, if I recall, that's by the same designer, isn't it, that made Magic?
Yes, indeed. Indeed, the same designer as Magic.
Well, do you like one better than the other?
I still prefer Magic over Keyforge. Keyforge is fun. It's very, very pick up. But I think the one thing that I really like about Magic the Gathering is the deck building aspect of it. And you really can't get that in Keyforge. Although the fun thing about Keyforge is that, well, get a deck. You kind of have to figure out what the deck does and how it's going to win in such a short amount of time. I guess that's the fun part of it.
And is there any trading or like with Magic the Gathering or any like you can combine decks or not?
Not really. That's the interesting part about the Keyforge mechanic is that when you get a deck, that's it. So you really have to kind of learn how it works immediately.
Well, there you go. And how many Magic cards do you have, if you don't mind us asking, Ice?
Recently, actually, I just got back into it. I bought Commander deck just recently. I've been playing a lot of the online version, actually, in terms of competitive. Not really the paper. For paper, I've been playing Commander mainly.
Oh, okay. And when it going to online or whatnot, is that a money grab as well? Like, do you have to still keep buying all the different cards and whatnot?
It's still there, but surprisingly, it's very, very generous in terms of like the cards it gives you. You kind of get like, I think 10, 15 free decks after just playing for 1 month. So it's a pretty good deal.
Well, that's pretty good. Yeah, that sounds like a pretty good deal, and that's pretty good to hear. Now, something that seems like it might be on a completely different extreme compared to the collectible card games is 9 Lives. What can you tell us about that?
So, 9 Lives is a game that me and my friends developed. We're called Promeworks. We came up with the idea just about sometime late 2017. It was just out of curiosity, really, we were like, I think we can make a card game. It came out, we'd be playing card games from time to time, and that idea just popped up. One thing led to another, and well, we apparently just made a card game. So Nine Lives is it's a 2 to 5 player game where the goal of the game is to get the opponent's lives to 0. And throughout the game, there's just a lot of mechanics that we call karma cards, where every turn something happens. It's good, it's bad, and it adds a sort of randomness to the game.
Yeah, so and it seems like you're like, from the video, according to it, you're like either throwing their cats in blenders or puking on them or all kinds of different things. It seems like a big take that. Is that right?
Yeah, what we wanted the game to be really was we wanted it to be fast paced, and we wanted it to be, in a sort of sense, fun in the way that you don't know what's gonna happen to you, but at the same time you kind of have a way to affect the game as well. Because we didn't want, it's a very friendly game in the sense that you probably are not gonna fight your friends over it, but we wanted it to be something that flows very fast.
So no table flipping has been made in the creating of this game?
Not really. Just we've had some disagreements, like why did you pick me over him, in terms of like that. The game is also designed to sort of pit all the players against each other.
Oh, okay. So per se, me and you sat down to play Nine Lives. What would that look like, or what's my turn look like, Ice?
All right. So start of your turn, everyone starts off with 5 paw cards, which we call, these are action cards. And action cards, or paw cards, are used to either deal damage, deflect damage, or what we call utility cards, which allow you to either draw or discard certain cards. So the start of your turn, you draw a karma card. Whatever happens in the karma card happens. Again, it's good, it's bad. It can happen that you lose lives, you gain lives, you might lose your turn, you might have to draw extra karma cards, you might be allowed to draw a paw card. Anything goes really with the karma cards. So if you survive that, you have the opportunity to play 2 paw cards per turn, which then you, like I said, you use to either you can choose to deal damage, or some paw cards allow you to deal direct damage to people, or deal damage to yourself and deal more damage to other people. There are cards which actually allow you to have people fight each other and decide who takes more damage over the other. And the game flows like that. At the end of your turn, after you play 2 paw cards, you pass the turn to the next guy. It's actually very fast paced, really.
Yeah, it sounds like it. And I guess whoever has the most lives at the end of the game and everybody else is dead wins, or how does that work?
Yes. So at the end of the game, it usually happens. The rule of the game is that the game ends in 2 scenarios. Either one, when everyone's dead except for one person, or when the karma card deck runs out. We've never had it happen that the karma deck runs out.
Okay, so it's never run out?
It's never run out. There's about 35 cards in it, and you draw 1 per turn, and sometimes you draw more per turn, and it's really never happened that we actually ended the game because no one has died yet.
Oh boy, everyone's died before the card pile runs out.
It's pretty fast. It's pretty fast. That was the goal of the game anyway. Since sometimes you end up losing and you end up feeling a little bit salty. We want the game to be over really fast, so you have that feeling of like, you know what, I'm gonna get back. I'm gonna get back to this guy next game.
Oh, that's good. Then you don't have to be sitting out of game group forever.
Yeah. We didn't want the scenario where you die really early and then you have to wait like 10-15 minutes before you can hop back in. Most of the action happens, I'd say, like mid-game, near the 7 to 10 minute mark, where almost everybody's just flinging cards at each other. And usually once it starts ramping up, it ends pretty quick as well.
Awesome. And where do you get the inspiration for Nine Lives from?
Honestly, like it was a mix of various game mechanics. I guess like I said, I'm one of the designers. I honestly got most of my inspiration from Magic and from Monopoly Deal. I wanted the fast-paced style in the game, and I did want some more complicated mechanics. So we have maybe some of the cards that the ideas that I got were similar to how blue in Magic plays. So you actually have some counter cards in the deck. There's some cards in the deck that allow you to choose one player, and that player chooses another player to take damage. And then since we're a varied bunch, I'm pretty sure like everyone else has their own inspirations for some of the game mechanics in here.
Did you guys start with the mechanics, or did you start with the theme?
We did start with the mechanics, and then we just decided one day, what do we put on the cards? The cards literally started out as just literal piece of paper with, all right, take 1 damage, draw 1 card. It all started like very basic. So I guess throughout 2018, we slowly built the idea up and realized that, we actually have something on hand. We might want to, turn this into something. So we eventually decided, let's put cats in it. It was that random. Let's put cats in it.
Awesome. Well, I love the art. Who did you have to do the art on it?
We have a team of artists, actually. We have all local coming here from the Philippines. And they just work together. Actually, I love the art as well. Super love the art. It's very simple, very hand-drawn aesthetic.
Yeah, it kind of almost reminds me of cartoons from my childhood in a sense.
Which one specifically?
I can't think of it, but yeah, it does in a sense. I don't know. Yeah, sorry. But yeah, they're really cool. Like the art is awesome in this game from what I can see. Now, you said you played during 2018 or whatnot. During that play testing, was there ever anything you guys had to scrap because it just wouldn't work?
We had a few more complicated mechanics that we wanted to put into the game. So I guess one of the mechanics that we did have to scrap was we wanted a way where players could actually use the cards that they had. For example, if you had 5 cards, you could choose to trade out 3 cards and use that to a certain effect. So it would either allow you to you could trade out 3 red paw cards to like deal 1 damage, or trade out 3 yellow paw cards to like draw 2 cards. It was an interesting mechanic that we wanted to put in because it added more it gave more agency to the player in terms of what he could do with his hand. But then one of the problems that we ran into was that people would forget mechanics that weren't on the cards. It's again, we wanted the game to be very simple. Every time we wanted to add, a mechanic, we were always excited to add more mechanics. Like, we could make the cards do this. You could make the cards, have the player discard a card, draw 1 card, flip a coin. But then we would always go back to the idea that, this has to be it's a fun casual card game meant to be played, really fast. We don't want, one of the things that we wanted when we made the game was that when you get a new, you head into a board game shop, you look for a random game, you sit down, you open the box, and there's like 27 pages of instruction and 300 pieces that you have to assemble. And before the game even starts, it's 30 minutes of staring at them out. What does this do? What does this do? We didn't want anything like that. We wanted people to sit down, look at 1 card, which is essentially tells you the turn order, and that's it. You start playing.
And if you're like me, you go ahead and you watch the video, you set the board, you set the whole game up on the table, and then you watch the video a couple more times, and you end up having the game on the table for about a week, if not longer.
Yeah, we did not want that, especially since it comes from our own experience where we'd go to a board game shop, borrow a game, sit down, and then one person would be really excited to play. This game looks really nice, and they open it up, and it's like, again, 30 minutes of setup. By then, everyone else is already at the point where let's just play another game.
Pretty much, yeah, I feel you. So that's awesome that so are all the rules on one of the cards, like it has instructions on a card, and then each mechanic is written on the actual cards as you're playing, you said?
Yeah, so each card in itself says everything that you need to do. It's very simple, in terms of like the only rules that we have is how the turns go by, and it could be explained in a minute.
Awesome. So that's really cool that you can play really quick, and it looks like it comes with some cool life chips as well. What can you tell us about those?
So yeah, the mechanic of life chips is essentially the number of lives that you have. Again, it's 9 lives. You're a cat. You have 9 lives, And the life chip mechanic started out really as something that we wanted a way to obviously track people's lives, but we wanted it to be something like a physical manifestation. You really felt that you were losing or gaining lives. So we eventually came up with the idea of like, why not have it like as coins, as life chips, like poker chips? And we were eventually able to evolve the idea into having the life chips as part of the game, in the sense that these would be the chips themselves that you would actually flip. So you don't actually need a coin whenever a card says, flip a coin and see what happens. The life chips itself actually have the face of the cats that we have. So there's one in front, and the one at the back is its dead form, quote unquote. So it literally, your lives and your karma depends on how you flip the chip, whether it's life or death.
So that's pretty cool. So yeah, most definitely. It looks like a really cool game. Now, when it comes to 9 Lives, what would you say you're most proud of about it, Ice?
All right, so I guess one of the most the team really focused on making the game easy to learn and easy to pick up. And again, that was the core design mechanic that we wanted to focus on. And I think what we really wanted was a balance, or what we really worked hard on was a balance of making sure that we had interesting game mechanics, but at the same time that these game mechanics were very easy to implement and understand. So that took a lot of work between the team, since there are many designers on the team. So it's more than one brain working on the idea. Sometimes people have like crazy ideas that we eventually figure out how to implement in a simple and easy to learn way. So it's a good mix of interesting mechanics, but it's easy to learn and quick to pick up. And there's actually a decent amount of strategy in the game as well, which players would eventually find after a few games. Like once they're very familiar with the cards, they will know how to work around certain game mechanics.
Well, that's always good that you can include strategy as well as luck, so it's not just all luck of the draw. And one thing I don't know about my audience, but I'm dying to know. I've been dying ever since I saw the campaign. It just kind of exploded. When did you guys launched? 4 days ago?
We launched on February 1.
February 1, yeah. So, and it's the 4th right now, so it'll be the 5th by the time this comes out, and you're almost to your just shy of your goal that was almost $10,000 USD.
Close to about 90%, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, so, and that's pretty cool. And then, so when I look at your Facebook page as well, you got a bunch of likes over there. So can you share, like, because a lot of times we have different creators that come on the show, somebody wants to go to Kickstarter and stuff. Can you share any of your marketing tips or hacks that you've used during getting ready for the campaign?
So one of the main focuses in terms of like marketing and art that we decided to go about was we wanted our cats to have a lot of character. So when we say that it's our cats, this is actually like each cat. There are 9 cats in the game, since there are, again, 9. We really were hard on making sure that everything turned out to be around the number 9. But yeah, the 9 cats in the game are actually all they have their own characters. They all are individual, cats, and we made sure that there are actually 9 people in the team. So we each had sort of a hand in making sure that each cat was unique. So each cat has a name. Each cat has has a stereotype. We made sure that they were not only visually unique, but also that their demeanor was actually also very unique, that people with cats or with pets would identify with. So most of our marketing actually revolves around the lives and what the shenanigans that these 9 cats get around to. And people were very receptive to it, because people would sometimes look at one of the, say, a short comic that we'd put out, and they'd go, oh wait, my cat also does that, or my cat has also been in this same situation and did this or did that. So it's a very it's something that people identify with, if they have pets as well.
Oh, okay, awesome. And looking at scrolling through the campaign, you guys are going to be able to deliver by June and July, it looks like.
Yes, we have actually already spoken with our. We already have distribution channels already set up. We've already spoken with our manufacturer. Actually have we have had physical copies, like sample physical copies of the game sent to us, and these are already or practically the final version in our hands. So yeah, we're actually, once we do get funded, we are ready to like all the pieces have been put into place already.
Well, that's pretty good because, yeah, a lot of times it takes forever. So, what can you tell us? Like, what's it going to put somebody back so they can get a copy of Nine Lives and start playing this summer, I guess?
Yeah, I mean, if you guys want the game, it's we're live on Kickstarter. We actually have a ton of stretch goals because Nine Lives itself comes, or we already have one expansion pack ready. Again, like when I said before that people on the team were very excited to insert new mechanics into the game. We decided, you know what, we should, if we can't fit it into one game, we'll start making expansions. And the expansion packs are more than just new cards and new effects. One of the expansions that we decided to make is called Vampers, which is essentially vampire cats, and it adds, strangely enough, a social deduction aspect to the game if you want to add it on to the Nine Lives base game. So we actually, some of the more complicated mechanics, some of the more I guess weirder rules, we decided to put into another set of cards that you could add on to the base game.
Okay, and it looks like there's lots of different options to choose from. So, which ones are going to get the stretch goals? Like, we selected the basic game. What all does that come with?
So base game comes with the Nine Lives, base game. That comes with all the karma cards, all the paw cards, and the life chips. And if we do meet the stretch goals, all the stretch goals will apply to all tiers actually. So some of our stretch goals are, if we meet them, we'll be giving away the plushies of certain cats. So that's something that everyone who ordered the game gets. It's not limited to, it's just a VIP tier, just X amount of tier. We wanted to, it's really wanting to give back to the community who wants to kickstart the game. If they want this game to exist, we're very grateful to them, and we decided, let's give it to everyone who helped us along the way.
Awesome, and it looks like you're just about there. Like I said before, well, you just recently went up another. I changed my pledge from 2 to the early bird because there was a couple more early birds left. So I went ahead and changed my pledge, so it went up a little bit, whatever that costs. And there's 9 at the time of recording. So if you're listening, you may have a chance. They may be gone by the time you catch this podcast. But there's 9 of the early birds left, and you're really close to the goal.
We're about, we're less than, I think this is less than 10% off the goal. So yeah, I think by the end of hopefully by the end of the campaign period, we'll be able to start production of Nine Lives.
Awesome, and you'll be unlocking are the stretch goals already listed? So if somebody wants to see there's a couple here. Okay, yeah, so I see those. So it looks like you said, there's a different plushies and stuff.
Yes, and we will also be like part of the stretch goals is, so we'll be giving away a badge pin, which will be, this is still under design. We're still currently debating within the team, and probably we'll be discussing also with the backers if it's going to be our main logo or one of the cats. And then we'll also be including some Kickstarter exclusive cards into the game, which we fully intend to be completely fun. It's nothing that people will miss out on, like, oh, I should have gotten this card. It's something more of to add. It's something that you add to make the game more fun. It might make the game a little bit imbalanced, but it'll definitely make the game experience a lot more exciting. Uh, Part of the stretch goals also will be giving away a Kickstarter exclusive expansion. If we do meet the stretch goal, it's going to go out to everybody. And lastly, again, we're going to give away the plushie of our one of the main characters in the game.
Okay, yeah, so that's what we need to get for it, so everybody can get the expansion. Then that's awesome. And it looks like these stretch goals aren't, according to what I've known before, aren't necessarily like your everyday stretch goal. They include different things like maybe a social goal, like tweeting something or showing a picture, and then so much percentage funded. Is that right?
Yeah, we wanted the stretch goals to be sort of a community thing, really. Not just because most of the stretch goals that we've seen have always been, once we hit X amount, we're gonna add this. Once we hit X amount, we're gonna add this. We wanted to be something that the community would sort of like work on because they're excited to. Oh, we're really close. So for those of you who want to check out the Kickstarter page, it's actually a bingo card. So we also have basically nine unlockable goals, and the way it's set up is that if it forms certain patterns, you'll unlock a certain stretch goal. So we also made even the stretch goals sort of into a mini game.
Awesome, yeah, awesome. So that's pretty cool, and it looks like what? Okay, so maybe that's why. Because I was wondering why you got so many Facebook likes. It looks like that was actually one of the stretch goal options, and it looks like that's been reached. So that's awesome.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I'm very thankful to the community for that.
So yeah, that's for sure awesome. And yeah, so if anybody wants to, they should definitely go ahead and check out that link in the show notes. I know you've already sold me on the game. It looks awesome here. And they'll get it really soon. Plus, I'll help us get all those stretch goals unlocked. Now, Minus coming there to check you out, Minus coming to your hometown to stalk you. How would people go about keeping up with 9 Lives or stuff you have going on?
Sure, you guys can follow us on social media. That is, it's 9 Lives on Facebook. That's Facebook and Instagram. That is 9 Live. That's facebook.com/9livesgame on Facebook, and on Instagram it's just 9 Lives.
Okay, and we'll make sure we leave if you give me the links, I'll make sure I leave them all in the show notes. Now, with all the game projects on Kickstarter, what makes 9 Lives pop and stand out as one my audience should go check out if they haven't yet, and then back it if they like what they see? Ice?
So, like, aside from what I said, like, the game it's super easy to play. It's super fun to play, and it's something that if you want your friends to play, you're not going to spend 10 to 15 minutes convincing them of it. Just get the game, show it to them, open it up, and in less than 5 minutes you'll be already be playing. You won't have that problem of having to convince your friends to play a game, and then 30 minutes later you're still setting up.
Awesome. Yeah, so definitely. So go ahead and check out 9 Lives. Pull over if you're driving so you can click that link in the show notes, or do it when you get home, because we want to make this funded and get all those awesome stretch goals that they have set up for you. Now, I know we're focused on 9 Lives because we really want to get it funded and get those stretch goals so we can all enjoy the great things you guys have set up for us. But after the fact, is there other games in the works, Ice?
Yes, actually. 9 Lives is, strangely enough, our second game in the works. There's all the ideas started out with a different game, but it's still all under construction. 9 Lives was essentially sort of a product of that game, which we decided, this shouldn't be part of this first one, because it's a lot of designers excited to put ideas into the pot, and at some point we had to make sure that each game would have its own character, would have its own identity, and 9 Lives was actually one of the pieces of the original game that we decided, this is way too fun and way too cute to be just a part of something else, and we made it its own little baby. So yeah, we actually have one game in production, one more game in production, and if Nine Lives does successfully enough, we're probably gonna be working on that next.
Awesome. And they'll be able to find that out. Well, if they back the game, of course, they'll be able to get the updates. But otherwise, they can follow along on the Facebook and Instagram page. Is that right?
Definitely, we'll be announcing it on our social media, and uh, we have actually left some Easter eggs in some of the cards as to point out, the other game that's currently in the works.
Awesome. Can you give us any teasers on the podcast in case somebody doesn't get the opportunity during the Kickstarter? They're listening later on down the road after the Kickstarter's done. Is there any Easter eggs you can give us for podcast listeners as well?
Sure. I'd say that our game currently right now, Nine Lives, is about cats. I'm gonna say that the next game that we are currently cooking up is gonna be about bread.
Interesting. From cats to bread. I like it.
Yeah, it's gonna be about bread.
There you go. I like bread. Not necessarily cats, but you've sold me on the game, so that's awesome. Hopefully, other people listening like what they've heard, or they at least go ahead and check out the Kickstarter page and like what they see over there. And we'll, like I said, we'll make sure we leave all the links in the show notes so they can go and check it out. And so, yeah, we'll make sure we do that for you. Now, yeah, the bread. We'll definitely have you come back on to tell us about that. Are you looking at that going on Kickstarter? Is that still years down the road?
Maybe I can't really say. But we have a prototype version of that game, of our bread game, where we are still knocking a few, I guess, design mechanics out. And I guess one of the things about that game is it's more than a card game. It's definitely more than a card game. So that's why we're hoping that Nine Lives does really well, so that we have more funds to throw into that game and make it into something better, make it something more.
I'm hoping so too. I've never seen a miniature game with bread in it. So that's interesting, even though it may not have miniature, but it's more than a card game, like you said. So yeah, we don't want to keep you all day. Yeah, it sounds exciting, and even just about Nine Lives, it sounds exciting. So I'm so glad it's doing so well. But like we said, we need to go ahead, and anybody listening, go ahead and check out the campaign. If you like what you see, help us unlock some of these other stretch goals. And maybe you don't have the funds for some reason. You've already don't have any funds or whatnot. There's still other ways to help, like you said, help the community with these different stretch goals. One of them retweeting the Kickstarter campaign, just all kinds of stuff. You can help out even if you're not able to pledge money. So that's awesome as well, Ice.
Yeah. So we encourage the community, like Blake said, if you want to wait for the game to hit the shelves, and or you're trying to save up on something, maybe you've bought too many board games already, we really appreciate it if you go out and like our social media, share our Kickstarter campaign, because it definitely will help not only us but also the backers unlock some of the very exciting Kickstarter rewards that we have.
Most definitely. Like I said, you've several times, you've got me excited. So hopefully the other people listening are excited, and they'll at least go check out that campaign. And like you said, if for some reason you've bought in too many board games, go ahead and help spread the word about Nine Lives so we can get those stretch goals at least.
We'd super appreciate it.
Awesome. Now, yeah, we don't want to keep you all, I guess over there it's daytime right now, or all night for us, but we really appreciate you coming on Getting Geeky with Gamer Leaf with us, Ice, to talk all about Nine Lives and also the upcoming bread game, but mainly about Nine Lives. We really appreciate it, Ice.
Thank you very much, Blake. I'm very glad to be here. I'm glad I had the opportunity to talk to you.
Yeah, me too. I appreciate it.
What is this place? What is it doing here in the Leaves computer? Oh, it's Kickstarter Corner with the Leaves.
So there's a couple of exciting things on Kickstarter Corner this week. This one ends really soon. It's the Love Me Gamer Valentine's Day custom dice set by Riot Dice, in which you get 3 custom dice sets to all the lovers, because love is all you need. They're so close to their funding goal, and there's still 10 days to go to get in on this fun action. It looks like you might even get a laser engraved thing to hold your lover's dice in, and this project will be on through Friday the 15th of February, so the day after Valentine's Day, but it closes really early in the morning, so make sure you back this for your lover before Valentine's Day, which is Thursday the 14th of February. And you know what? You can go ahead, and there is actually a code that I got from the creator, special to podcast listeners. What you do is you go ahead and at the survey time, you want to enter Leaf Love. That's right, LEAFLOVE in as a promo code on your campaign survey. What I would do, because I have a bad memory if I'm going to do it, I would go ahead and send them a message as well, or comment on their page to try to help you remember. But the choice is yours. Try to get a discount, as well as give Getting Geeky with Game Relief a little bit of love for sending you over to check out Love Me Gamer Valentine's Day Custom Dice Set by Riot Dice on Kickstarter through Friday the 15th of February. When the last soldier fell, Triskilia and Constantina returned to the dragon's lair and completed a ritual with ancient dragon arcana that sealed their pact and their friendship. They conversed for a while about their lives. The dragon had lived many years and had a score of stories to tell. When asked about the gods, the dragon had nothing but contempt. Dragons were proud creatures, and being immortal themselves, did not accept or worship the mortal pantheon. Their gods were more like concepts, such as rage, thunder, or magic. The warrior could understand that way more easily than the things she had been told about the gods. When the sun rose, Triskilia woke up, found that the dragon had been watching over her, nodded her thanks, and then went her own way. Want to find out more about this story? Jump on over to the Theosis Facebook page. We'll leave links in the show notes, but this way you'll be ready when Theosis Godslayer, the mini expansion for Theosis, launches on Kickstarter on the 12th of February. It's going to be a short campaign, only running through the 19th of February. If you're listening as this podcast releases, make sure you're subscribed to our email list, as very shortly we're going to be sending out an episode that you'll get before your friends, in which I sit down with the creator to talk all about their new mini campaign coming. You'll get that without Kickstarter Corner and without the sponsor ads. So definitely subscribe over at GameReliefGo.com. But in the meantime, jump over and find out what happens in this part 3 of 4 of the Theosis lore. Next, we've got Head Chef. It's a tabletop card game of food, fame, and fun. In this tabletop card game for 1 to 4 hungry players, you will cook food, earn fame, and become, you guessed it, the head chef. But definitely head over and check out his campaign. It looks like a really fun game. They're so close to their goal, and you can help make it become a reality. Check it out before Friday, the 22nd of February. Head Chef, the tabletop card game of food, fame, and fun. This one just recently launched. It's Overlords of Infamy, Misery Loves Company from the Obscure Reference Games. The jam-packed expansion to our flagship game, Lords of Infamy. What I like about this expansion is it adds another faction. Some will play as the hero, some as the overlords. I think one person is the hero, to tell you the truth. Some are the overlords of infamy, and someone gets to play the bad dragon. So I think it is semi-co-op. I'm going to see if I can get the creator to come on and talk about it, because this game sounds amazing to myself. But definitely jump on over, check out the campaign. It'll be on Kickstarter through Friday the 22nd of February. But definitely check out Overlords of Infamy, Misery Loves Company. We had Tony on the show just this past Saturday, I believe. you can go listen to that. He launched his game to Kickstarter just recently. It's called Collectible, 4 daring jungle dice games in a tin. This is the second in the series, and it looks like an amazing game, as well as sounds like an amazing game. You can go catch my last interview that I had on this last Saturday to find out a little bit more about him and his game, and see if it be something that you're interested in. It sounds really fun, though. And did you catch our interview just barely? You didn't? Well, definitely rewind the podcast. We'll wait for you to go on with these other campaigns that are going on. And listen, as I sat down with Ice to talk all about 9 Lives. It's a card game for cat lovers, cat haters, and cat neutral people. Even dog people will love it. I know he sold me on it. And there's still 26 more days to go to get in on the fun that is 9 Lives. So definitely jump on over and check it out. If you're listening, there may still be some early bird campaign levels left. At the time of recording, there was 9 left, so don't dilly-dally and check out 9 Lives. This game has yet to launch to Kickstarter, but I have it on good authority that Alliance, the card game, is coming to Kickstarter on Thursday, the 7th of February. I just sat down with the designer and creator of this game, and he's actually going to be on Thursday's show, so make sure you're subscribed over on your podcast catchers so you never miss an episode of Getting Geeky with Game Relief, and you can find out all about Alliance, the card game. What I think of when I think of this, it's a battle card game that kids can play with their parents, parents can play against other parents, and kids can play against other kids. It sounds like it might be a game that I might just be able to win in my household. We'll have to wait and see, but you should definitely check out Alliance, the card game that launches to Kickstarter on Thursday, the 7th of February, and it will run through the 9th of March. So definitely check out Alliance, the card game. Last but not least, I'd like to once again bring your attention to Getting Geeky with Game Relief podcast season number 3. That's right, 300 plus episodes have been made for geeks like you. With your help, we'd love to provide greater content and expand what we already do. We are oh so very close. At the time of this recording, we were only $61 away, yes, $61 away from being able to bring you guys a video. So if you don't always catch the podcast, but you have time to watch video, definitely jump on over and help us get that goal unlocked. Plus, how about seeing me doing board gaming with yoga, not just as a podcast, but as a video? That's a stretch goal as well. Plus, we need your help to come up with some fan-based stretch goals. Go ahead and jump on over, check out our campaign. If you have ideas for stretch goals, even if you don't back the campaign, go ahead and email me over at gamerelief@gamereliefgo.com. I love to hear your suggestions. But anyways, it's our least favorite time, your least favorite time for us to get on with our lives, you to get on with yours. Plus, I've got to put my kids to bed. But in the meantime, I hope you'll go ahead and get geeky, stay geeky, and bring others into the geek fold. This is Game Relief, and I'm out of here.
Gamer Leaf levels up. Tune in next week to see if Gamer Leaf's luck holds up.